So about a month ago, I left a comment on a video called Black Conservatives Debate Black Liberals on American Politics, extended version. One of the points many of these black conservatives were making was that some amount, too large amount of the racism they experienced was at the hands of other black people telling them they weren't black enough due to their political opinions. I left this comment, you can pause and read it if you like, but the main point is that telling someone that they're not black enough for their political opinions is inherently racist and that we should generally leave race out of the realm of debate. Remember that, because I'm going to bring it up later. I left this comment not really thinking that many people would see it, which isn't generally a good mindset. You should only make comments for the purpose of people reading them, otherwise you may end up saying something regrettable. The comment actually caught on pretty well. I got many people replying in hearty agreement, many who disagreed, or otherwise wanted to have some sort of debate or discussion, and I'd like to talk a little about that today. One person really missed the point with their comment. I support Trump and I'm blacker than y'all. The point was to not tell other people that their racial identity is invalid due to their political opinions, right or left. Overall, it's not a very individualist thing to say. Another says, it's wrong but it's not racist. How can you be racist amongst your own people? It's excluding people and shutting out individualism, but it's not racist. Now, I think the definition of racism is lost on many people. There are many definitions, but I think I'll go with Merriam-Webster's. Racism is a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race, or simply, prejudice or discrimination based exclusively on race. I like this definition because it pretty much covers all bases. So yes, saying that black people can't have certain political opinions is racist, no matter the race of who says it, because that statement discriminates purely because of race. I think there's a spectrum, even in the replies in this comment section. There are reasonable, intelligent people on the right and the left. Just the same, there are unreasonable people on both sides, and then there are stupid people. Someone leaves 2 consecutive comments. It's not racism, it's colorism. It's not racism, it's prejudice. Just as the definition of the term states, prejudice based on race is indeed racism. I fail to see how people conclude that racism isn't a certain type of prejudice, and a very nasty one at that. So you've got the spectrum of intelligent, unreasonable, and stupid people on either side. This bloke I'm about to talk about is none of those things. He's the bottom of a brain meme. He is absolutely ascended. He is on another plane of existence. As many people do, he fails to see that racism is a type of prejudice, but also doesn't want to call it racism. Here's the callback I set up earlier. Isn't that just a YouTuber thing to do? Anyway, I find it funny that he says, why do we not end this racism thing, when I ended my initial comment by suggesting that we leave race out of it. I reckon there's an imbalance in the political sphere that we really ought to find common ground on for once. On the left, many see it prudent to call absolutely everything racist, when in reality there's a much better conclusion to be made and we should simply apply Occam's razor. Because the left decides to behave like this, there's some pushback on the right where we hesitate to admit that something is racist when it absolutely is. Not everything is racist, but some things are. Your agenda shouldn't supersede your willingness to call out injustice if it exists, so long as your intent is to maintain egalitarianism, which many people are unwilling to embrace anyway. I only replied to one reply, which states, not having a collective identity hurts us, a point with which I vehemently disagree, but in the same breath implies that nobody should believe me because I'm white. I don't know where people get the idea that I'm white, despite the fact I'm obviously purple. In all seriousness, I'm not black, but the sentiments expressed in my comment are reflected by some black people. Simply read the replies and you'll see that not all, but there are some black people who agree with me. This comment is very telling because it shows that collectivism pits groups against each other. Assuming that I'm white because I said something individualist is the exact problem that I was calling out in my original comment. This person assumes that a true black person would never think something like that, which is both racist and a logical fallacy we like to call no true Scotsman. A word to the wise, don't let your racial identity overtake your ability to perceive that other people might think differently than you or people of your race. To wrap it up, Noble Works, the powerful and almighty, leaves another blessed reply. I haven't the foggiest whether he was directing this at me or to the world at large, but he writes, you need a more sound mental construct, and then proceeds to link several Wikipedia articles. Now, I like me a good Wikipedia read, but I don't think a person with a quote sound mental construct would write such a thing and reply to a stranger on the internet, but to each their own. Overall, I think stable people generally don't let the comments of strangers get to them, but I reckon he just wanted to help someone he thought was misguided, and for that I can't blame him. Or her. Or it. I don't really know, do I? I hope you enjoyed this fun little fireside discussion. Don't leave the door open on your way out. You could let in a draft, and I really want to keep it cozy around here. Cheerio! Goodness. never let me say Cheerio again unless I'm referring to the breakfast cereal. Anyway, I may eventually finish the video I've been working on since goodness November. Might just scrap it or rewrite it, but we'll see. Don't know if I'm busy or just lazy. Probably both. I think I'm getting better at recording. I used to put my face up too close to the mic and have the gain up too loud, but I think this is good. And it's summer now, so I might keep doing that or doing streams of summer. So, yeah. Who do you think you are, lagging about? Go back to your, hentai or whatever you do. That's just what I feel like. Okay. Just text me back, like, while I'm recording.